The next question is, what is the reasonable period allowed in India for presentation of a check? Suppose somebody gives you a check dated today. Within which period you should present it for encashing? What is the period beyond which it will not be accepted? So the options are 1 year, 3 months, 9 months, depending upon banking custom. The correct answer is 3 months. If somebody gives you a check today, then within 3 months you must encash it. If you don't encash it within 3 months, it becomes a stale check. It will be returned by the bank with the reason check stale. What is the reason for this? Drafts and many other instruments are being held by some unscrupulous people as a tool for money laundering, and therefore to get out of that, Reserve Bank of India has reduced the period allowed for encashment from 6 months to 3 months. Pay orders, bankers' checks, drafts, etc. with effect from 1st April 2012 must be presented to the bank within 3 months. The Reserve Bank of India has stated, in public interest and in the interest of banking policy, it is necessary to reduce the period within which checks, drafts, pay orders, bankers' checks are presented for payment from 6 months to 3 months from the date of such instrument, the RBI said in that statement. Now, after 3 months, the check will become stale. They may also ask this question. If after 3 months a check is presented, what is the reason for the return? The reason for the return is it is a stale check. Now let us look at another interesting question. Crossing of a check means what? Crossing of a check means what? Drawing X across the face of a check, drawing 2 transverse parallel lines on the face of the check, cancelling a check, making a check stale. These are the various options given. Crossing of a check is, and the correct answer is, drawing 2 parallel transverse lines on the face of the check. This is very important. All of you, please understand. There was one of my friend, when we were studying in the 3rd year of his degree, he was asked to submit a crossed demand draft, and this person he purchased a demand draft. What he did? This is the demand draft. Model Bank, pay to So what this man did was, he put a X across and sent. This is not crossing, please note. This is cancelling a demand draft. The demand draft can never be encashed. You have to present it to the bank which issued the demand draft, cancel it, and then purchase another demand draft. Because this man has not understood the meaning of the word crossing. Actually, crossing means this is the check. Model Bank, date, pay to, amount, signature. This is the check, a facsimile of a check. Crossing means drawing 2 transverse parallel lines on the face of the check. Every word is important. Crossing 2 transverse, that means cross, parallel lines on the face of the check. These lines must be on the face of the check. There is no meaning in drawing at the back of the check. It could be, it is not necessary that it should be here. Please note. This can be drawn here also. The words 2 parallel transverse lines are very important for general crossing. with or without the words UNCO. If you want to add, you can add UNCO. If you don't also add UNCO, it does not matter. But two parallel transverse lines is very important. Suppose you simply draw one line, it is not crossing. And you draw one line here and one line here, it is not crossing. It has to be parallel and it has to be transverse. And please remember, it should be on the face of the check. Anywhere on the face of the check. You can even draw here. No problem. But it should be transverse and parallel. And it must be on the face of the check. These are the three things. Now what is the effect of crossing? If a check is crossed, it cannot be paid cash across the counter. There is no way you can pay cash across the counter. It has to be only credited to the account of somebody. Why this crossing is has come? Crossing is an additional security feature for a check. If a check is crossed, nobody can go and get encash and disappear. He has to necessarily, suppose the crossed check is lost on the way. You are carrying the check to the bank, on the way the crossed check has fallen down. Some X picks up. He cannot put it in his account. He can put it in his account and encash, but he will be caught. He can never go to the bank and take cash. Only when he goes to the bank, takes cash, he can disappear without any trace. But in the case of if he is putting the check in his account, later on we can trace to which account he has put, and the person can be traced and the money can be recovered. So crossing puts an additional feature. The effect of crossing is that the check cannot be paid cash across the counter at no point of time after crossing. Again, who can cross the check? Anybody can cross the check. It is not necessary only the drawer should cross the check. The payee can cross the check. The NRC can cross the check. Any holder of a check can cross the check. So crossing is an additional security feature for a check. Now let us look at the next question. In India, which is the biggest commercial bank in public sector? Several banks are given: Punjab National Bank, Bank of Baroda, State Bank of India, State Bank of Hyderabad. The obvious answer is State Bank of India. State Bank of India is having nearly 21 to 23% of the total deposits of the all scheduled commercial banks deposits. It is the biggest player in the banking segment. State Bank of India has also the largest number of branches of commercial banks in India. That also, it is another credit that it has. The next question is, among the following, which one is a foreign bank? DCB Bank, DBS Bank, Dena Bank, Dhanalakshmi Bank, all starting with D. So among them, which one is a foreign bank? The answer is DBS Bank. DBS Bank means, the original name of DBS Bank is Development Bank of Singapore. DBS Bank Limited is a multinational bank whose headquarters is in Marina in Singapore. Its present name, DBS Bank, was adopted in July 2003 to reflect its changing role as a regional bank. This bank was started by Singapore government in July 1968 to take over the industrial financing activities from the then Economic Development Board. Today it has more than 100 branches which can be found all over Singapore, and DBS Bank is the largest bank in Southeast Asia by assets, and it is one of the larger banks in Asia. So the only foreign bank in the list is DBS Bank, which is Development Bank Singapore. Next question is, New Bank of India was merged on 4/9/1993 with which bank? Various options are given: State Bank of India, Union Bank of India, Canara Bank and Punjab National Bank. The correct answer is Punjab National Bank. New Bank of India was the only public sector bank and the first public sector bank to be merged with another public sector bank, namely Punjab National Bank. The affairs of New Bank of India were not properly conducted. They had some credit problems and all. Therefore, Reserve Bank thought it fit to merge it with another performing bank, namely Punjab National Bank.